Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is a very special episode for me. It's talking about a scene from one of my favorite video games of all time. Today, we're going to be talking about the crappiest boss in Nintendo history.
I'm flashing myself. Oh no! I will get out of this!
When I say the crappiest boss, I mean an actual piece of poo. You are going to want to stick around to the very end of this video because this piece of poo even sings a little song, and I'll put the entire thing at the end. But let's start by taking you back to 2001, the N64 era. Up until this point, everything released was pretty kid-friendly on the N64. Even GoldenEye didn't look too bad to parents, even though it had a higher rating. Most parents were okay with kids playing GoldenEye. Then Rareware dropped this bombshell of a game, an absolute masterpiece called Conkers Bad Fur Day. Conkers Bad Fur Day looked like it was for kids, and that's how most kids trick their parents into buying it for them. But it was actually this raunchy, funny, creative game. It did a lot of parodies, and it was an absolute parody king. Even I used the cartoony graphics to trick my parents into getting me in this game. They weren't too happy when they realized what I did, but I was already playing it and they kind of turned a blind eye to it. But it definitely was not for kids. Conkers Bad Fur Day, to keep it short, is about a squirrel who gets drunk with his buddies before they go to war. He wakes up after blacking out, and all he wants to do is find his way back home. So if you haven't played this, I can't recommend it enough. Even the multiplayer was creative and fun. Not so much the multiplayer in Live and Reload It, which was the one that came out for 360. I'll talk about that later. But Conkers Bad Fur Day, the N64 version, was an absolute masterpiece. Single player and multiplayer games just don't have that same creativity that this did.
Were your parents related, like before they were married?
Great! That's it!
So eventually in the game, about midway, you reach Poo Mountain. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a mountain made of actual poop.
That way smells a bit pooey.
Once you get inside Poo Mountain, you meet a dung beetle who tells you his friends have been killed. This is by the boss, the Great Mighty Poo.
The Great Mighty Poo.
The Great Mighty Poo took this dung beetle's friends and dragged it into a poo pool and killed them. So, wanting the money, Conker went inside Poo Mountain. Even with the warnings, he still continued forward, and he hears this voice, and this voice is telling him to bring him sweet corn. So eventually you bring him enough sweet corn, you see this Jaws parody, that's what they were doing in this scene. The Great Mighty Poo comes up and puts the corn as his teeth. This is where you're greeted by him for the first time. He's like this giant, sludgy poo monster that likes to sing opera. He's kind of grumpy, but for some reason, man, we loved him. This is where you get into the boss battle. You'll have these, what they're called context-sensitive pads. That'll give you toilet paper. You have to throw the toilet paper into the boss's mouth. So you do it once, he'll sing a song. Then you do it two more times, he sings another song. You do it 3 times, he sings. He finally hits this high note that breaks glass. You run over, you flush him down the toilet, and this is where he gives a monologue that's actually a parody of The Wizard of Oz. And the Great Mighty Poo was voiced by the only male voice in the game that was not voiced by Chris Seavers. So Chris Seavers did every male voice in this game, and you would not know it if you played it. That was all done by one guy.
I don't even get paid very much.
Except for the Great Mighty Poo. And this is the other crazy part though. The idea for the Great Mighty Poo came when a software developer had a poo on their lunch break, and everyone was so impressed by this poo, they dedicated an entire boss battle to this poo on their lunch hour. So I don't know about you, but I never had a poo that got famous. I mean, me and my friends were singing the song like crazy in elementary school. The Great Mighty Poo was an absolute icon to us. Now, some other cool information about him is they might have actually modeled the character off a reskin out of Banjo Tooie. So there's a boss in that called Old King Cole, who they're pretty much kind of identical in skin. And at this time, Rare was an absolute powerhouse in the Nintendo days. I'll put a couple photos of some of the games they had here, but they were killing it. So later, we move forward to 2005 in the Xbox 360 era, where the Great Mighty Poo came back in a game called Conker Live and Reload It. Now this was pretty much just Conkers Bad Fur Day. They put a couple twists to try to make it a little fresh, but it was the same story, but they made things different.
Weren't you meant to fall off here?
The biggest difference I noticed here is when I played Conkers Live and Reload It when I was a kid, they actually censored the song more than the N64 era.
And I am going to throw my at you.
And I found this really weird because the N64 was mainly kid-friendly, so why are you censoring it in the Xbox 360 version, which is a much more mature system, than the more kid-friendly system on the N64? I never understood that decision, but that's what they did.
Thanks, f***ing.
So when I play the song later, it'll definitely be the N64 version. Another big difference which I found was that the Great Mighty Pooh flips off the dung beetle in that scene, and in the Xbox version his eyes are actually white, not green like the N64, and he's a little more cross-eyed. This is the only boss battle in the entire game that you can exit and come back. Doing this restarts the battle, but there's another little fact. Since then, even bands have covered the iconic song of the Great Mighty Pooh.
I am the great mighty Pooh.
So before getting into the song that I'm about to show you now, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out as a creator more than you know. I don't have much time to make these videos, and I work very hard and stay up very late to make them. And just remember, it's all shits and giggles till somebody giggles and shits. Now for the entire Great Mighty Pooh song from Conkers Bad Fur Day, I'll put the visuals for Live and Reloaded right beside it. So let's go, the Great Mighty Pooh.
The great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat? Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin?
Have some more caviar.
Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt.
You cursed squirrel, look what you've done. I'm blushing. Oh, what a world, what a world. Who'd have thought a good little squirrel like you could destroy my beautiful flagginess? Oh, I'm going. Oh, no!
Now that's what I call a bowel movement.